Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 15 brawlers, which I think you should be looking to upgrade before the update or once the update arrives. So we're in this kind of weird period where the update has came up essentially like a week early, sneak peeks and everything. We haven't even got Brawl talk yet, so yeah, it's like, what do we even do in terms of content? But I think this will really help you guys because I haven't done any type of ranking video really to do with the meta in nearly a month now. So let's jump into it then. So to begin with, I think absolutely Brawler must max out right now in preparation for the update has to be Ollie. So Ollie already is a pretty good brawler. I would say in and around the bottom of the A tier, top of the B tier. Really good in knockout and bounty in the pro meta right now. He's pretty good just into those snipers and just good for pressuring the opponents. But we all know Ollie's new hypercharge looks absolutely dumb broken. It does, and even if they nerf the hypercharge rate, which they probably might, considering it takes 2 hypercharges only to charge up, it's still fundamentally broken. If they don't fix something about it, he's going to be the best brawler in the game regardless, because with Ollie's hypercharge, you can jump over walls, you have a much bigger radius, you don't get any ammo depleted, which is a massive thing about it, and you're going to be able to cycle super a lot more effectively, because of course you're going to be hypnotizing more people once the base boost, whatever it calls, hits with your super. So yeah, Ollie easily is going to be one of the best brawlers inside of the game. We knew how good Ollie was once he got that rework. He was one of the best brawlers. He's literally just going to go back to that previous state. He's going to be good everywhere. So next up on the most maxed out list, we have the twins. So the twins are already in competitive play. They definitely have their play rates. They have their good play rates in triple dribble, a few Brawl maps, a few hot zone maps as well, but not like the absolute must go to brawler. Before, like I'd say 6 months ago, you could literally play them into everything, but this hypercharge with only taking 2 supers to get, it's just going to make them a lot more annoying. There's got to be a few like counters to them. Any sort of splash brawlers might be able to deal with them all right, but outside of that, it's just the twins hardly have any counters right when they're good, because they're a thrower that can counter the squishier brawlers, and then they can defend themselves against the aggro brawlers with a super and the reload star power. So I just think it's going to be a horrible meta if the hypercharge is as good as it looks. So next up on the most maxed out list, we have a Jae Young. So Jae Young is another brawler that's receiving a hypercharge. I'm not just going to name every single hypercharge brawler, by the way, but Jae Young's already like low S tier, high A tier without a hypercharge, so of course it's going to get a little bit better. I think the biggest problem about his hypercharge, it takes a bit too long to charge up, but it doesn't matter. He's just got one. He's able to make more plays thanks to this hypercharge that is coming out, but it's still the fact that he's not receiving any nerfs and he's already super strong. He's one of these brawlers which I always think is super underrated, because again, like in pro play, I just hardly ever see him lose. There's never really like absolute direct counters out there. The only counters really like Crow and Bonnie, and even then I don't think they're like insane. Whether you're playing bounty or knockout, he's just a free pick, because again, you can just abuse so many different matchups as a Jae Young with this speed shot that you have. So I feel like Brawl Stars the Brawl Stars devs don't think he's toxic in the meta, so I feel like he's going to be one of these brawlers just like Max, where he's always at the top of the meta. So next up on the most maxed out list, we have Meeple. So this is probably my lowest one in terms of how good I think they're going to be with the hypercharge coming out, but I just think Meeple would be like a solid option. Meeple is already a little bit underrated, but there are probably too many counters out there at the top of meta like Tara and Charlie, but with the hypercharge coming out again, I just think because it only takes 2 supers to get, I think Meeple's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think especially in ranked, you're going to be able to draft in around Meeple. Of course, you're not going to pick Meeple when already you've got like low DPS on your team. You've got to make sure you've got a tank counter in there, or at least some form of like splash that can handle Meeple's counters. Outside of that, Meeple will have good matchups into everything, and it's the damage boost that you get on top of the hypercharge which looks really insane. So naturally, I think Meeple's easily going to be like an A tier brawler once the update comes out. Okay, so finally we're going to be steering away from the new hypercharge brawlers, but we've got another brawler that is receiving a rework, and I've just got a feeling that BB could actually be a lot stronger than people are giving her credit for, or maybe it's just still trash. We'll see, but I think it's worthwhile investing in. I think the majority of player base probably have BB maxed out because she's a super fun brawler and she's a noob stomper, so a lot of the newer players probably have her already maxed out. But I think in preparation, I think she'll be really good. If you guys missed it, she's receiving a rework, so her home run, well, whatever that bar is to give her a knockback, it gets filled up no matter what ammo you're at. Normally you had to deplete you had to reload all of your ammo, then it starts charging up, but now no matter what ammo you're at, it's going to be charging non-stop. So more knockbacks, your star power is as well going to get more utility, so you're going to have more shields, you're going to have more movement speed at more point. I just think she's going to be a much better brawler now in the meta, and her hypercharge, I've always liked it, so I think she'll have some good play rates with this update. The next brawler on must max out list, we have Tara. So Tara, I think I slept on her a little bit in the last tier list, which was about a month ago in terms of, well, I put her high B tier. I think she's a low A tier brawler for sure. She's so good in gem grab, like the best brawler hands down, and that is thanks to her being able to counter a lot of the aggressive brawlers in the gem grab meta, the Lilies, the Kenjis, etc., the Kaze as well. And I think it's mostly down to her hypercharge. Only taking 2 supers to get, you're able to farm so quickly and win pretty much any matchup because of that hypercharge. It's got to be one of the most underrated ones inside of the game. You're just guaranteed to hit it every single time unless you are Tom. If you know, you know. But Tara, again, she's been used like Brawl later on in the draft. She's been used later on in like Hot Zone. I've even been used in Heist. And that's when you know Tara's good in the meta. You know, like your Kaboom Canyons, your Hot Potato. People are using Tara because of how fast you can cycle through hypercharges. Just make a difference. So yeah, the meta has been a lot about hypercharges at the moment, and Tara's hypercharge has made her so good. The next rule on the list you must absolutely max out before the next update has to be Kit. So now we know the balance changes, and we know that Kit didn't really receive any meaningful nerfs. In my opinion, 2 extra hits. Yeah, it might, you know, some games that might make a difference, but I think all in all, you're not addressing the actual hypercharge itself. You're not addressing the problem that the hypercharge super is just a guaranteed kill pretty much on every single brawler inside of a game, unless you're a Frank or someone with like 12k health. You're going to kill that brawler with a hypercharge, and then the support, like, it's just making Kit an assassin. It's forever going to make Kit broken. So even with this nerf, Kit's easily going to be an S tier brawler in the game, in my opinion, even with the meta change it in and around Kit. So yeah, just an easy max out in my opinion. The next brawler on this list who you should easily max out right now in the meta, and you should have since her hypercharge, it is Bonnie. So Bonnie, another brawler that is receiving a nerf in the update, but another brawler again that isn't being nerfed properly. Maybe their anticipation is that other brawlers around them will get stronger, so they'll get weaker, but I'm not under that impression, because Bonnie only received, I think, she needs 1 more hit to get a hypercharge. 1. And like Bonnie just cycles through to like 3 or 4 in the game. It's crazy how quick you're able to charge hypercharge with a Bonnie. She's so flexible, and in pro play you've seen her used on really bushy maps, and that's when you know Bonnie's strong, because her big weakness should be those tanks and brawlers being aggressive, because she's only single shot brawler, right? But the hypercharge is just so broken that she'll easily still be an S tier brawler after the update. The next brawler must absolutely max out before the next update. It is Lily. So another really strong brawler in this current meta, and even with the nerf that is coming, I still anticipate Lily being one of the best brawlers inside of the game. Still, the hypercharge is going to be so broken. It's a 10% projectile speed nerf. Yeah, you might not be able to auto aim it the way that you used to, but I think with Lily, most of the time, if you just aim it, you're going to hit your supers 90% of the time. So I think the big problem about Lily is that once you just hit the hypercharge super, there's basically no brawler that can kill Lily in that 1 versus 1. I know Lily should have the advantage. It's a hypercharge super, right? But just not that overwhelming of an advantage. I feel like for them to actually balance Lily, they need to nerf her hypercharge stats, or else she's going to win every single 1 versus 1. So until we fix that, Lily's easily going to be an A tier brawler minimum. But next brawler you must absolutely max out with the next update. It has to be Kaze. So another meta brawler here, which is clearly S tier in the hands of pro players, is not receiving a nerf, which I'm very, very unsure about. I think with Kaze, it's clear, right, that even some pros don't know how to play Kaze properly. It's a big learning curve with her, but the players that can use her correctly, they'll just completely carry the game. Her ninja hypercharge is just completely broken, and you can cycle it so quickly. I think it's like 2.2 supers to get off the top of my head, which is very, very fast for a super that can just delete multiple people and team wipe. Like, we don't want brawlers like this in the game that can just team wipe so quickly and with hardly much skill. She's just got so much usability about her. Like, it's so annoying that she's not receiving a nerf, because again, like, for the average player, she probably has lower than average win rates, I would presume, because of how difficult she is to play. And the community consensus whenever put Kaze at S tier, but like, what, she's not S tier, but she is, and she definitely needs a nerf. So Lumi is next on the must max out list, and again, another brawler that's not receiving a nerf, but Lumi's in this weird point where I looked at the data, and Lumi, in and around anything below, I'd say Masters 2, she just doesn't really have a good win rate or really good play rate. I don't know why, because when you take a look at like Masters 3, Pro, and take a look at actual Pro BSC gameplay, Lumi's always at the top of picks, bans, win rates, etc. because she's just so versatile in draft. So I'm not really getting why the average player doesn't find Lumi that strong. I think there is this learning curve with her because to begin with, like, you got to learn how to position, how to use your main attack to just get control, your gadget, how to use it effectively. There probably is a bit of a learning curve there, but once you learn that, and once, like, the pros, of course, have got their hands on Lumi for a long enough time to learn how good she is, I just don't get why she's not receiving nerfs. So to me, it just feels like Lumi's going to be this brawler that's just stuck in the S tier again. So yeah, just an easy max out because she's just so easy to win with. So next up on the max out list, we have Cordelius, and another brawler, you've guessed it, which I don't know what they're doing with these balance changes, but for not nerfing Cordelius for whatever reason. Cordelius is just a menace in this current meta, and he's still going to be in the next one. It doesn't matter what brawlers in and around him become meta, he will be S tier. Absolutely, if he doesn't receive a nerf. The damage buff that he received was way too much. You get within distance to 0 counterplay. Every single brawler gets absolutely ripped through, and pretty much every brawler will lose in the Shadow Realm now thanks to this damage buff. So Cordelius, you know the gist of Cordelius. He can counter pretty much everything with his jump gadget, with his nuke gadget. Just if you time your super correctly, you can waste a lot of enemy brawlers' hypercharges, which that was one of the main reasons why Cordelius was meta some time ago, because hypercharges were so broken. Well, we're still 2 years later in this period where some hyperchargers are so broken, the only counter is to put them in a Shadow Realm and get them to waste it. So yeah, Cordelius absolutely insane in this meta, and he still will be after the update. The next brawler must absolutely max out right now, and for the next update has to be Draco. So Draco, another brawler that is not receiving a nerf. That's just way too strong. There's a lot of really too strong brawlers right now in the meta, and Draco's one of them with his hypercharge. They nerfed it quite heavily, and I thought, okay, this might actually tone him back a little bit, but it just didn't, because with Draco there's so many broken things about him. The fact that you can charge up your super through charge up your hypercharge and your super through taking damage, which is insane with Draco. He's got a busted gadget that can keep your life for 2 seconds, which is busted. He's got a star power that can heal you in clutch situations, which is really, really strong. And let's not forget, his hypercharge is just a win button. It's the team wipe machine. It is. It may take a bit longer than usual to charge it up, but you can still charge up probably like 1 or 2 a game. In my opinion, you'll easily, no matter what, charge up 1 at least in hot zone, which again just equals team wipe, equals complete control because of how busted it is. So they're not nerfing Draco. To me, is the easiest must max out. So next up on a must max out list, we have Kenji. So another high A tier brawler in the meta right now that's not receiving a nerf. Why is there so many that's been missed off the list? I don't know, guys, but Kenji is still strong, mainly because of his hypercharge. I mean, his main mechanics will always make him a pretty good brawler in the game, because with low ping, or just if you're really good at Kenji, you're able to just sustain your life really easily with a life steal. You're able to make a lot of pressure. You're able to make some good plays with his super. But it, all in all, is his hypercharge. It will take, again, a little bit more skill to build it up, but it doesn't matter, because if that hypercharge is still fundamentally broken, you just need one of them a game to change the game completely. Look at gem grab, look at just being able to get multiple people in Brawl, get you a guaranteed goal, gain your control back in hot zone. There's just so many game modes where his hypercharge is just way too influential. So yeah, until they fix that, which I'm not sure they will, he will always be a meta brawler. So the last brawler on my list who I recommend maxing out right now, who has shown a big rise in the meta over the past month or so, has to be Crow. So I will actually saying that he's actually not being abused as much right now. He's not, well, I say abused, he's not really being picked as much as he used to, but Crow is still a really solid option in the meta. He's not receiving any nerfs because, again, he's not at a state where he's like really toxic. He's just annoying. Like, he has a lot of HP. His shield gadget can just be really annoying because it's hard to kill a Crow now when he's got a damage reduction star power. He's got a damage reduction shield that he can activate pretty fast every, what, 15 seconds or something. Pretty crazy. And yeah, he's just hardly got any really bad matchups. His typical counters used to be like snipers because he used to be super squishy. Well, there's not really a lot out there. There's only really brawlers that like Charlie, or just any brawlers that can waste a lot of his ammo, but he's always going to be just good into everything. So do recommend maxing him out because he's just a solid brawler overall. We can't go wrong with a Crow. So that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know whether I missed out on any of these in the comment section. Some of these are, of course, going to be predictions. Might be a bit wild, like Maple and BB, but a lot of these are brawlers that are already good in this meta and will definitely be good in the next one as well, if there's no other balance changes. But of course, things can still change before the update. So if things change, if any more balance changes happen before the update, I'll let you guys know. Don't you worry about it. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.